They said confession is good for the soul, but nobody warned us what happens when an entire generation decides honesty is bad for business. March 2024, and three names are about to teach Africa a masterclass in the art of digital deception. But here's the twist: one of them almost got away with it because they understood something the others didn't. This isn't just about fake rape claims or phantom Ferraris or rented mansions pretending to be empires. This is about the moment social media turned every teenager with a smartphone into a potential scam artist. And now one lie told by an 18-year-old girl exposed the terrifying truth that we've built an economy where fraud pays better than honesty. February 18th, 2024, and an 18-year-old named Mirabel uploads a video that will change her life forever, just not in the way she imagined. Within 72 hours, that single TikTok has exploded to 19.5 million views, and her followers count has rocketed past 90,000. The video shows Mirabel visibly shaking, her tears streaming down her face as she recounts being brutally assaulted by an anonymous attacker. But here's where it gets chilling. She claims a rapist then had the audacity to message her afterward, taunting her with details only the attacker would know, writing under the username Preston186 that even though she'd kept her eyes closed during the attack, they'd actually met twice before and she'd ignored him both times. The message ends with a threat that makes viewers' blood run cold. He'd paid other boys to come finish what he started. The internet does what the internet does best when confronted with a young woman in distress. It believes her instantly and mobilizes with righteous fury. Within hours, the video is everywhere, shared across WhatsApp groups, reposted on Instagram, dissected on Twitter. Mirabel becomes the face of a larger conversation about violence against women in Nigeria, with activists and celebrities alike amplifying her story. Then comes video number 2, and this is where the cracks start showing, but nobody wants to see them yet. Mirabel posts footage claiming to be from a hospital, showing friends helping her leave after receiving treatment. The building looks less like a medical facility and more like someone's compound, the kind of place you'd rent out for a party, not treat assault victims. One of her friends, supposedly there for emotional support, can barely contain her laughter, her mouth twitching as she tries to keep a straight face for the camera. Another friend is visibly smiling while they're meant to be documenting this traumatic moment. But the internet is already invested in the narrative, so these red flags get buried under an avalanche of sympathy. Mirabel then goes live with her friends, and here's where the performance reaches its peak. They don't directly ask for money because that would be too obvious. Instead, they talk about medical bills, therapy costs, legal fees, all while maintaining that heartbroken expression that says we're not asking, but if you felt moved to help. The donations start pouring in. Ordinary Nigerians, many of them struggling themselves, send whatever they can spare because they believe they're helping a rape survivor get justice. Prayer chains form. News outlets pick up the story. Mirabel's face is suddenly everywhere. The tragic symbol of everything wrong with society's treatment of women. Some donors even go public with their contributions, posting screenshots of bank transfers as proof of their solidarity. The story has everything a viral moment needs: a sympathetic victim, a faceless villain, a clear moral lesson, and a call to action. But then, the internet's other superpower kicks in: the obsessive investigators, the digital detectives who can spot inconsistencies in pixels and patterns in text messages. Someone notices that Mirabel has a linguistic quirk. She uses the word "sue" excessively in her writing, stretching it out in a very specific way. Then they look at the messages from Preston186, the anonymous attacker. Same quirk, same unusual spelling pattern. One of her ex-boyfriends comes forward with screenshots showing Mirabel using "sue" in exactly the same way throughout their previous conversations. The linguistic fingerprint is identical. More people start examining the videos frame by frame. The hospital doesn't have any visible medical equipment. Her friends Body language is all wrong for people witnessing trauma. The timing of events doesn't add up. Most damning of all, someone tracks the Preston 186 account and discovers it was created the same day as Mirabel's first video, and its only activity has been sending that one threatening message. The case is starting to look less like a crime and more like a performance. As the evidence mounts, public sentiment turns with terrifying speed. The same people who championed Mirabel 48 hours earlier are now leading the mob calling for her cancellation. Jokes and memes flood the timeline. One user sarcastically asks how she and her rapist both happen to type "sue" the same way. Another points out she hasn't even bothered to delete the fake threatening message still visible on her profile. Someone creates an AI-generated video claiming Mirabel has won a Guinness World Record for most elaborate online hoax. The mockery is relentless and creative in its cruelty. Eventually, the pressure becomes unbearable. VDM, a popular social media personality known for calling out scammers, gets Mirabel on a call to confront her directly. In that conversation, she finally cracks. She admits she made the whole thing up, that there was no attack, no Preston 186, no hospital visit. Her reason is the one we've heard 1,000 times before. She needed help, she was depressed, she didn't know what else to do. When she reveals she's only 18 years old, it adds another layer of complexity to an already messy situation. She's young enough that some people want to show mercy, old enough that others insist she should have known better. Mirabel becomes a cautionary tale, a meme, a punchline. The Preston 186 account vanishes without a trace, scrubbed from the platform like it never existed. But here's what's interesting. Mirabel's story, as shocking as it is, follows a familiar pattern. She created a persona, manufactured a crisis, monetized sympathy, and got caught because she didn't understand the basic rule of online deception, which is that your digital footprint always betrays you. What she lacked in sophistication, our next character more than makes up for, because he understood that the key to a great con isn't just the lie itself, it's the show you put on while telling it. Meet the Kenyan prince, and if Mirabel was amateur hour, this guy was the main event. By 2023, this 21-year-old had given himself a title that perfectly captured his ambitions: Kenya's youngest sponsor, local slang for a wealthy benefactor who lavishes gifts on others. And lavish he did, but with a theatrical flair that made Mirabel's hospital charade look like a school play. November 2023, and the Kenyan prince drops a video that breaks the internet. He's sitting at a table casually spreading out 6 million Kenyan shillings in cash like he's sorting laundry, each bundle of notes carefully arranged for maximum visual impact. But the cash display is just the opening act. In the same video, he unveils a gleaming Audi sports car and declares with absolute confidence that he is the biggest Forex trader in East Africa. The audacity is breathtaking because he's not just claiming wealth, he's performing it, turning his life into a reality show where every episode ends with him winning. The comment section explodes with a mix of admiration and suspicion. Some viewers are genuinely impressed, aspiring traders asking for mentorship and tips. Others immediately smell something off, questioning how a 21-year-old could possibly accumulate this kind of wealth through legitimate trading. The Kenyan prince doesn't just ignore the skeptics, he mocks them. When comedian turned vlogger Tilly features him in a segment literally titled Kenya's Youngest Scammer, the prince responds with a shrug and a quote that becomes instant legend, saying $7,000 is nothing to me, as if the accusation itself is too small to warrant serious denial. Then 2024 arrives and brings with it rumors that would sink most influencers. Interpol and Afropol arrest 24 Kenyans in connection with a massive $8.6 million credit card fraud operation. The Kenyan prince isn't named as a suspect, but the timing is suspicious enough that social media detectives start drawing connections. His response is to double down with a social media post that reads, like a movie villain's monologue, claiming he's already past the stage of dealing with local authorities, that he's now with Interpol and they still haven't caught him, and suggesting they should bring the CIA next. It's either the confidence of innocence or the most reckless guilty man alive, and honestly, it's hard to tell which. Which brings us to the master, the one who almost pulled off the perfect con by doing what the others never thought of, building an entire company around the fiction. Robert Nigeno, the Pluto, wasn't satisfied with just online flexing. He wanted something so legitimate looking that questioning it would seem crazy. September 18th, 2023, and he's opening his multi-million shilling Forex hub in Nairobi. YouTube presenter Ali gets the grand tour, trading screens with live currency charts, world clocks for London, New York, Tokyo, young staff at workstations supposedly executing trades. It looks like a real financial operation, the kind where serious money moves. The Pluto sells the dream perfectly, claiming he's helping Kenyan youth learn to trade and earn, creating upload opportunities for an entire generation. While Mirabel faked hospital visits and the Kenyan prince faked accidents, the Pluto built an entire fake company with employees, office space, and training programs. The genius is that physical infrastructure creates automatic credibility. When you operate from a professional office with staff, people assume you're legitimate. The Pluto had another advantage. Before Forex, he was already famous for his loyalty test videos, where he'd approach couples and offer money to test if they cheat. This celebrity status made his Forex venture instantly credible. By 2023, he had it all: the business, girlfriend Felicity Shiru, their baby daughter, and a stunning 7-bedroom mansion in Utawala that appeared in every family vlog. The Forex hub was proof his success was real. Then September 2024, he announces a breakup with Felicity. Normal enough, except by January 2025, fans notice something bizarre. That 7-bedroom mansion is suddenly listed for rent at 130,000 shillings per month. When questioned, the Pluto claims he moved to a smaller place for a fresh start, that the mansion was too big for one person. But he never answers the real question. Did he ever own it, or was it always just a rental, part of the performance? The fact that someone else can now rent it from the landlord says everything. Here's what these 3 stories reveal. We've built a system where performance pays better than productivity, where fake sympathy is more valuable than real skills, and where the biggest risk isn't getting caught but not lying creatively enough. Mirabel proved vulnerability is currency. The Kenyan prince proved shamelessness is a brand. The Pluto proved infrastructure creates believability. But they all made the same mistake. They forgot the internet never forgets.